Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with arguably the best Protoss player in the world in the red. We have herO, facing off against one of his greatest rivals, Seryl's stunt double in the Rocky Zerg in the blue. We have Solar, in a best-of-5 Protoss versus Zerg tournament showdown, part of the playoffs for the Kung Fu Cup monthly finals. And before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button, maybe even subscribe. And we got the algorithm. Jimmy, what are we at? 1,744 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better as the Adept sneaks in, going for the Zergling. The drone's a little bit more vulnerable and dodges into the Spore Crawler, and what I assume is an uncomfortable yet necessary biological process, like so many of them. Awkward start, but not awkward is an Oracle on the way. The Stargate will be completing it. So far, no real shenanigans out of herO, a remarkably standard build, which is why I remarked on it. But the Overlord, the Stalker, has been waiting for this moment for several seconds. And the Overlord, okay. The Overlord had given up. The Stalker apparently had too. We've all been there. It's a little early to like and subscribe for existential dread. But is it? Well, Oracle on the way across the map. A second one in production. Handful of Zerglings. Gonna go confirm that herO has the hubris to take a third base, and indeed he does. And with another Oracle, even with just one Adept, that's more than enough to defend early on. Oracle looking for an opportunity. Not finding a revelation so far, but the Queens politely yet firmly asking them to, he just what? He just lights it up. And herO just casually strolls by, assassinates one of the Queens. Is he allowed to do that? Queens reeling from the assassination of one of their number. One of the Oracles badly bruised. He got a drone, a Zergling, Overlord, and a Queen. Though the Oracle's only about half of that. The Zergling counterattack, but the Adepts jam themselves into a nice tight spot to minimize those Zerglings. One of the Adepts, first blood. Assuming that's what the Protoss have, but they don't, because they're plants, and this is canon. We all know that. All right. Carrick's confirmed. Read a ebook or something that they have to explain things. Haven't you read the 47 comic books that give you the backstory to this poorly written piece of media? Pleb. Is he just going charge? Why not? All right. It's just a bunch of charge lots. Yeah, that's it. I got no follow-up to that. He's still building. He's 59 probes, so this isn't some sort of crazy all-in. He just decided to whip out the charge lots. So we'll see how it goes. +1 ranged attack is on the way for Solar, but the Roaches are just now popping out. He's waiting for the charges on the Queens. A Stasis to cut them off. Cuts down one. Jam behind the corner. Stasis mediocre at best. But the Queens, there's no upgrade. It's just a bunch of charge lots. This is a ladder build right here. Oh, he catches a bunch of the Roaches, though it's going to create an awkward choke point. He's intentionally holding the Zealots until he can get some decent charges. Sure, throw another Stasis in there. And every split second he spends on dealing with the Stasis is one he doesn't spend on the charge lots, which are just yeeting themselves directly into these units. He's finally jammed into the mineral line, making it significantly more difficult for the charge lots to get critical damage done. But behind this, Solar, he's still got 55 drones, but it's double row. He's targeting the hatchery itself with some of the units. The rest of the charge slots easily distracted. All right, they've got a lot of enthusiasm, just not a whole lot of vision. That's what the Oracles are for, though, which somehow survived this engagement as the queens were taken out early on. There's still enough charge slots to keep Solar at bay. Roach speed is now completed. A Robo Bay is on the way? Is he gonna go Disruptors in this economy? Disruptors were technically buffed in the new patch. Their cooldown is now 4 seconds quicker. But herO's Disruptors have a tendency to not get a second shot either way, so... But, I mean, and Templar Archives in production. The thing is, herO just whipped out that charge lot build, which is widely considered to be a dick move, but what are you going to do about it? Solar was well-timed for dealing with Blink, dealing with Adept Glaives, but the charge lots are a jackhammer. They're not a scalpel. They're not a pool noodle. There's a lot of other things they aren't, but... Well, the creep highway is on the way across. The surviving queens will come to provide some anti-air, but herO actually has a lot of army supply, and he has +1 done. Guardian Shield, the queens, kind of in an awkward spot, and without them, there's no other anti-air. Almost loses the sentry, which is probably the most valuable unit right now. 3 Immortals, 2 Ruptors on the way. The Danger Balls have been chronoed out of the base, and the Disruptor shows up, and the entire army turns around, clips the road. We've arrived! But did we want to be here, Brenda? Not the time, Susan! Disruptor just wanders into the fray. Looks like that cooldown didn't matter. Somehow the queens knock out one of the oracles. There's still 1 in reserve. herO losing a impressive amount of units in kind of an unnecessary fashion, but it's really part of his process here. As we see more Disruptors wandering into the fray, nails the Ravager Cocoon, which goes for the center mass. Somewhat ironically, Ravager Cocoons are easier to snipe than Ravagers themselves. And herO, it looked like he had enough early, but then he decided to switch into the Disruptors. Corrosive Miles killing his own units. The queens still dangerous enough, so more stalking blunks forward. What is happening? More Corrosive Biles try to target the Oracle. Finally taken down. Probes pulled off the line. Another Disruptor. 2 more wandering up. And the double barrel shotgun blast of the Ruptors might be enough. Oh, he just walks in front. That is just disrespectful. Doesn't even blink. Just walks. Because he can blink back now. Softens up some more of the roaches. And the last queen will be taken down, and herO somehow meanders his way back into the advantage. He's managed to lose a similar, wow, a smorgasbord of units. 5 Ruptors, 2 Oracles, 3 Immortals, and of course, 40 charge lots. But despite all that, the Roach Ravager unable to break through. herO had so much economy, he could afford to pull probes, and despite losing how many? 14 probes, he's still ahead. 59 to 56. Solar just went all sorts of in, and he still hasn't built many drones. He built like 4 more drones. Just enough to get his 4th base going. So he didn't completely neglect the economy, but it's certainly hurting right now. Well, herO's decided we're going Ruptors. That's what we're doing. All right, he's gonna have like 6 Disruptors. And that is an existential threat to everyone in the general area, especially this. In fact, Disruptors are more dangerous to Protoss units than anything else. They have bonus damage to shields. The only Protoss units that can actually survive a Disruptor hit are the ones with inordinate amounts of HP. Massive units like Archons, like Colossi, like your mother. Those are the only things that will survive even a single hit, despite the fact that Roaches and Ravagers actually take 2. So this is part of the reason why Disruptors don't see as much use. I mean, Storm also does friendly fire, but, you know, not as dramatically. But here we are. herO has kind of ignored Storm for a couple weeks now. It was changed. I'm not going to call it an all-out nerf against Zerg. With the increase to the radius and duration, in my opinion, it is arguably better against Zerg, though it has its downsides with the DPS decrease. But herO also says that disruptors exist. So, well, it's Ravagerling Bane. And disruptors have more than enough damage to deal with the Banes. Flings out a shot, clips some roaches, another one. But now the Zealots are all stacked up, dangerously close. The disruptors on the front line, full broadside, comes up completely empty. Shaq at the free throw line. The disruptors do almost less than nothing. An impressive feat. But another shot, and this one he forces him to turn, clips a couple, wanders into the corrosive bile. herO, though, the charge lots at the back of the real damage. Another queen is taken down. The warp prism is a threat to the main. The charge lots in the natural. Another cinematic of zealots are warped into the main base. And while the disruptors may have missed everything, herO is hitting all the important parts of the map. And now slams the point home. An exclamation point of a set of disruptor shots. Almost blinks into him. Doesn't matter. GG. herO takes game number 1. Oh, we don't have the battle report. Those ragdolls. It's just way too much. Solar drawn apart. The casual charge lot timing. Every part of that game. Like, we started out from the standard template. And then herO broke out the finger paints. And Protoss, they only have 3 fingers. I think that's true. I think they're all thumbs. And they're plants. I don't know if we established that or if that was a different series. It's all blending together. And it's only been like 10 minutes. That is not a good sign. Meanwhile, Winter Madness. First probe is on the way across the map. That's all I have to say about that. He wants to block the base, but Solar has been very diligent about doing a hatch before Overlord timing. Notice he has 3 larvae banked up, but he wants that hatch before the probe can come across the map. herO sent the probe at the beginning of the game. He sent a second probe down to build the pylon. Apparently we're walling off. Again, Zerg again now? All right. I mean, you know, I feel like herO doesn't know if he's doing a certain build until he loads into the game. And even that build might be more like Spirit Journey. The vibes say charge lots. The vibes say disruptors. And the vibes are rarely wrong. I've heard a lot of recommendations for that series. All right, check out the low APM challenge. I will admit, Vibe does spoon feed a lot better. Whereas I'm more of a drizzling salt all over you. And with all that said, hey, check out this spawning pool, if you know what I mean. Okay, Jimmy, I don't know what to do with that, but do something. Yeah, just throw a meme up there. Okay, that works. Probe, doing some mineral flirting. Trying to convince the mineral patch it's being mined so the drones aren't able to do so as easily. Overlord. Yep, he walled off the natural for once. Well, for twice so far, at least. And the Stargate is on the way. I'm still racking my brain for how was Solar supposed to scout that without Overlord speed? So Scarlet kind of explained it. And the dilemma with the Overlord speed for scouting is, why would I spend 100 gas to be more likely to die to something I probably already know is coming? And that's the thing. Having 100 extra gas is not like... It's very different. And also, the thing about a Twilight Council is how ambiguous it is. Blink, Charge, and Adept Glaives all might not require an entirely different response. It's still Roaches and Lings are going to serve you pretty well. But the timing and the number are very relevant. Just like if you haven't smashed that like button yet. Well, he's over. Ooh. Yeah, kill me. Oh, Solar says. You won't do it. Did Solar think that was a pervert pillar or something? There's no way. Like, it was literally just open ground. It was super obviously not. I'm just saying. Thought I had the translator, but you know what? The comments will get it. 100% he thought... Maybe he thought that tree? Tree's not even that tall. You know what is a tall tree? Protoss. His outlets are like 10 feet tall. Which is, several furlongs. For, those who don't believe in the Imperial system. And at least a couple dozen bananas. Really depends on the size of your bananas, though. As so many things do. Weird day today. Twilight Forge. And melee attack. It's gonna be Blink out of herO this time. Something a bit closer to the standard he set many moons ago. This build was based off of herO's style couple years ago, as he kind of worked out what you could get away with and what you couldn't with the early oracles. But now he's always pushing the envelope to the point that it usually gets ripped open. Is some barely an impression of what it once was. Oracle taking the tour. The queens, well, there's not much they can do about it. Is that a Baneling? Okay. He's got a Baneling nest. This time around, Solar is this is an anti-charge lot build. But this time, it's Blink. And a Templar Archives. Is he actually going to go Storm? herO has been, I'm not going to say a conscientious objector, because that would imply consciousness, but has not actually gone for Storm in the majority of the games. But not including this one. He starts Storm immediately. Just something else in the toolbox. Hydra is done on the way. Solar is going to have 4 bases. He's going to have over 70 drones. And this is looking like your typical spread. Hydraling Bane. Oracle lights up a few more drones in an inconvenient position. Slaps down a Revelation. Refuses to elaborate further. Leaves. herO's gonna have the Templar, the Blink Stalkers, up against the Hydraling Bane. I mean, we've seen it before, I'm sure we'll see it again. There's a reason these are the staple compositions for most players, is building up Storm eventually, despite the changes. More than enough to ward away pretty much any ground army. And if you're actively scouting with oracles, you can tell, okay, the overlords just really don't want to go any further, do they? There's some sort of magical mind trick force field keeping overlords from getting into the main, apparently. Even the overseer couldn't get there. But if you're actively scouting with the oracles, or if they just don't attack you, if you sit for, if it's like 9 minutes in and you're not getting attacked by Hydraling Bane, okay, just loses Oracle, which is not great. And there seemed like there was plenty of time to react to that, too. Solar was busy doing some archaeology, but if you're not getting attacked by 9 minutes, they're going Lurkers with Hive. If you are getting attacked, well, that narrows down their options. But Solar has 84 drones. He's going on 5 bases. Baneling speed is nearly complete. Hydra speed as well. This army is not, like, what is this? This is a expeditionary force. Stasis is triggered. Another Oracle was built. There's the Templar. Yep, didn't want that Oracle either. There's the Storm. I think hero's gonna take more damage to Storm. Can barely see it on this wintry map. Hydra speed not done yet, but they can still outrun the Storm once it's cast. Charge is just now finishing up. And meanwhile, a fleet beacon has started, as well as a second star gate. herO clearly anticipating the lurker switch, which the lurker den is about to complete alongside the hive. The storms are optimistic, quite a dangerous force field. But a Hydra Ling counter, there's enough charge lots to make this difficult, and actually, hero's coming back to flank. The charge lots aren't enough on their own, but the rest of the army should be more than enough to deal with this, as round and round we go. But the Templar are out on their own. The Storms on top of the Templar themselves. The Banelings trying to roll in. Chases down some Hydras. Ring around the high ground here is... Okay. Feels like herO got the better end of that one, but not by so much that he can just turn it into a big attack. There's 8 lurkers on the way. A mothership in production. Archon, Tempest. A little bit of everything for herO. Instead of random mid-game timings, he's sped up the tech tree like a bamboo shoot here. And the lurker count, though, lurker range isn't done. There is no detection at all for herO. He does not have an Oracle. He does not have an Observer. He does not have a robotics facility. He's making 2 Oracles at a time. So he just doesn't have any detection, which is very bad in every sense of the term. He's gonna base trade, which is the best case scenario. The storms are gonna keep... Well, okay, so this base is dead. The natural, there goes the cyber core. Does he have energy recharge? No, he used it to defend. Gonna revelate these lurkers, be like, look, those are lurkers. Any lurkers back at home would be all that herO or all that Solar needs, but he's actually cutting off the reinforcements. The Overlord's distracting for a bit. Banelings and Hydras rolling in. I don't think there are enough units here. The mothership is done. herO, his unit's getting whittled down on the other side. The mothership itself might be enough to kill those Hydras, but with a few Tempests. So herO just didn't have any detection for the lurkers, which makes it very difficult to kill them, though not impossible when Storm is involved. Somehow he's going to turn it around with the Time Warp. The Oracles will light up as well to help out. Gotta be careful not to lose both of them, or we're going to be back in that same scenario. A Spire finished. So herO isn't dead, but he's super dead, though. Like, Solar... Well, there's still one lurker guarding the once natural. Yeah. Well, there's a reason you try to keep your oracles alive, or build a robo. And herO so kindly demonstrating for us what that reason is. And he used all the energy on his oracles, so he doesn't have revelation. herO. If he had detection for that first attack. Alright, 10 lurkers is not a deadly number against what was like 150 or 60 army supply. He might get some damage done, he might be able to sneak in, slice away the probes at the 4th. But he literally lost all of his detection. And even though he was switching to Tempest, anticipating the lurkers, he neglected to realize that he needed to be able to see the lurkers to shoot at them. And now, well, we're gonna base trade again. Blinding Cloud, which mildly inconveniences like 2 units. The Corruptors. But there's enough amalgamated anti-air here, I think, to actually finally bring down the mothership, the Tempest, and herO himself. As Solar just kind of gets the technical knockout. Not that. Also not that. Yeah, there you go. That'll do. I'll be honest. Usually I lie to you, but I'll be honest. That was bad. All right. Sometimes I call herO the best diamond player in StarCraft 2. And that certainly felt like one of my games. Now, I'm better than diamond most days. But the easiest, well, not the easiest mistake, the most obvious mistake. It isn't the easiest mistake. Is he just 12 pulling? And hero's not, well, okay, well, we get a test here. So, on this map, this is Celestial Enclave, where there's a worker-only path, but unless you're gonna drone rush, wait. So hero's not walling on a map with a pocket base. Solar's not expanding, right? He's looking for a probe. Ah, he would try to sell the probe on it. herO is going, wow. herO is going Nexus first against a 12 pool. So, and Solar is actively looking to see if this is scouted. There is no probe coming. There is no scout. He pulls the drones. Solar's like, is this actually a faster pathing? No, trust your drones. I think he's trying to avoid, like, what are you doing, Solar? So he was trying to go, the worker-only path was clearly messing with the pathfinding of the drones. Which actually slows down the drone rush. Not that it matters too. hero's chrono boosting. Like, this, you could not be less prepared. I guess the only saving grace is that he didn't wall. If he had wall... How does he know? herO, you genius. He's building a zealot. He's played Solar so many times, but, like... The fact that he's building... He could have canceled it if nothing showed up, but guess what? Surprise! Here comes, well, everyone. But that pylon is a little tucked in. The zealot's about to pop out! But it pops out on the wrong side of history. The probes, though, just drilling their way through. And the citizens arrest. You came to the wrong neighborhood. This should have been... Like, this was the hardest cheese against the greediest macro. The herO just defends it with probes? I mean, he had a zealot. So the zealot is an admission that exactly this could happen, I think, with the build. He could have canceled it if nothing showed up at his base. But, oh, wow. herO is vindicated. I mean... So, the drones taking longer to get there certainly didn't help, but... I do think if herO had walled off like a normie, he actually would have been in a worse position. It's much more likely the pylon can be surrounded and killed if he builds it near the front, as opposed to jammed in like that. So we finally see the vindication of herO and his curious tactics for dealing with Zerg. I'm still not 100% convinced, but it's far greater than it was. He went Nexus first. hero's Forrest Gumpian Protoss once again. Showing its strength, its value, its unique ability to pull a victory out of situations it has absolutely no right to, and pull a defeat out of situations that really he shouldn't have been in the first place. He goes from losing a game because he didn't have detection to winning with a Nexus first in probes. I don't know what he does to his opponents. All right. It's all the top. I feel like every one of these series that has games like this, which is pretty much every hero series, we have to talk about the historical Protoss precedent of playing like a crazy person and playing a full series as well. And Solar really trying to game. Now, I don't blame Solar for going for the 12 pool on that map, because that map is an absolute nightmare for Zerg to defend against Protoss later. You can blink in the back base, the warp prisms. herO has actively used the mothership to ruin your deck. You can't really defend your main as time goes on. So if there was ever a map to go for that sort of cheese, that was it. Celestial Enclave. And because of the worker-only path, though, I thought he was going to use it to get the drones in and circumvent the wall. But no. And did herO bait him by not scouting? Like, would he have drone pulled if a probe scouted? I don't think so. So herO's lack of scouting helped him win against the build he didn't scout. Because that wouldn't have actually happened, I don't think, if the probe had been pulled. Because he would have just assumed herO could wall off. Which is a strong assumption, but you know what? I think he would have managed it. My mind is... My gabbers are flaccid. My mind has been uncomfortably blown. It happens. But I feel like I learned something. But I'm not sure what it is, and I'm not sure I wanted to. So with that, welcome to Tourmaline. This game already longer than the previous one. As the first Adept comes out, and the Zerglings will all be hanging out. Actually, there are no Zerglings, so that's also a difference. Stargate's finished up. Void Ray to start things out. Why not? Overlords will not survive this series, one way or another. Even on Winter Madness, the Overlords had a tough time. Now, well, he's just gonna go for... Nobody expects the Void Ray. Solar hard supply blocked for a few moments. Had to add an extra Overlord in production. The Zergling, what? Just lets the Zerglings. You can't come in here. Well, apparently you can, because the Adept had one job. And, clearly would rather be unemployed. We got a Twilight, we got a Forge. Solar knows that too now, for no reason. You go for a Void Ray, ostensibly to deny scouting. And then you let the Zerglings in so they can scout. What sort of mind games is herO playing right now? What sort of 4D backgammon Kung Fu is he showing us here in the Kung Fu Cup? It's impossible to tell. Impossible. Well, the Void Ray going to try to induce epileptic seizures in those Zerglings. But we'll give them plenty of time to back off, as the Void Ray just kind of not great at anything but directly killing Overlords. Cost for cost, it's worse against ground than Oracles, without nearly as much utility. It's worse against air than Phoenixes. It's worse against Lurkers than Tempests. I think carriers are kind of in the same boat right now, so... But still probably better in the... So the thing is, Oracle damages spell damage, which means the armor of the queens and the road. You gonna say it, Brenda? Fine. Get off my creep! Does that feel better? No. Do you feel anything? No. Yeah. Sorry. Like and subscribe for existential dread. Hydralisk Den on the way. Lights up the Void Ray. And will burninate his way through the hatchery. And the Queen's gonna be far too late to defend it. That should be enough. Well, it runs out of charge. Well, immediately restarts and just in time. Now the Stalkers are trundling across, blinking forward. The Zergling's gonna have a meet and greet. Not a good sign for him. What happened to the Oracle? We don't talk about the Oracle. Oh wait, we just did talk about the Oracle. Yikes. It's a little concerning. That 100% that Adept looking like a matador ready to come on it. There's no way that's in the right spot. The Adept has 1 HP and 0 fucks, clearly. Like, 6 kills, though, so... It's done it all before. We have a Phoenix on the way, as he hasn't spotted the Hydras yet, which means herO might be anticipating Mutas. But unfortunately, it's just straight up Hydra Ling, which Phoenix is not so great against in such pitiful numbers. 82 drones for Solar. herO's been almost entirely unable to get damage done, but that's about to change as the Stalkers just casually stroll it up. 1 Queen, 2 Queen, Red Queen, more importantly, Blue Queen. The Stalkers now going to get surrounded by the Lings, blinking out. A few get their ankles caught, and Hydra Ling just... Now, if he thought he was up against Mutas, this makes a lot more sense, but unfortunately, the Hydras are coming around either side, and this composition is incredibly well suited to dealing with just pure Stalkers. And almost, that's a very optimistic 4th base herO. All right, will he cancel it? Is he gonna get away with it? He can't keep getting away with it. What? Well, the rest of the army, he's got 3 Phoenixes. He's got a few Charge Lots, a couple Archons. Here comes the Void Ray as well. Throws it out there. Archons are pin-cushioned by the Hydras. There's a fleet beacon on the way because, why not? Throw that in there. The Stalkers are no match. There are way more Hydras than Stalkers. Yeah, this is not even close to efficient for herO. But he's got to keep some sort of pressure on, otherwise the Hydras will just A-move their way across the map. Storm. Kind of an afterthought here, but the Zealots finding an angle where they can be a little more effective against the Zerglings and actually create a nice little wall off there in the middle line, but will be dealt with. The Stalkers on the edge of the creep. $200 supply for Solar. Not quite for herO. Well, this has not gone well. Storm is not done. Looks like it's being chrono boosted. Unfortunately, it looks like he may lose that Templar right before. Yep. Literally the moment Storm completes. And herO. Well, he just kind of dies. Nice little blink there, but Solar just has so many Banelings. He knocks down the wall entirely and takes a dozen probes as well. All right, well. Yet again, herO drunkenly stumbling out of the starting block into a wall and then getting his own broken down. Solar nailed his timing. He had plenty. Like, the fact that he had 82 drones, money in the bank as he wins the game there. But once again, herO works in mysterious ways. Sometimes not at all. And sometimes in ways that we cannot comprehend. And now, okay, it's game 5. Game 5. Best of 1. That's all I have to say about that. Solar, building drones, not going to attempt any sort of early pull shenanigans. herO feels almost immune to it. It just doesn't work. Solar is the macro Zerg. You let him get 80 drones. As a great man once said, don't let me get 80 drones. Shout out to Tempo. Awesome dude. But 80 drones and Solar win. If Solar gets to 80 drones without being slowed down significantly, he wins almost every game. Doesn't matter who his opponent is. Clem, Cyril, well, you rarely get 80 drones in CVZ. herO, especially now on the new pay. He seems to have the Hydraling Bane style really benefits from the Baneling buff, obviously. 5 HP on speed, return to the Baneling. So, if you're unable or unwilling, or both, which is not really relevant, but then it's just too much Zerg. Well, herO also seems to be forgetting either forgetting Storm exists or neglecting key parts of it, but the Hydraling Bane, Solar is going to bring 200 supply as quickly as possible. And there's no reason to stop. You have enough economy to not only max out on Hydraling Bane, but also tech up potentially to Hive and Lurkers. Just in case the first 1, 2, or 5 waves don't get the damage done. But herO is just kind of, We're just gonna have to see how Game 5 goes. And that's the beauty and the horror of herO. There is no conclusion I think we can draw about how Game 5 is going to go. Each game is its own discrete entity, yet somehow interconnected to all other entities. This is quantum herO here, right? A herO observed changes under that observation. But a herO unobserved is irrelevant because that's not a video you can like and subscribe. Close your eyes. Now open them. There's a bunch of Hydras. That was herO last game with his Blink Stalkers. You're welcome, all right. Thus concludes the test of our directed meditation today. With your spirit guide, herO. Stargate. Oracle. I've devolved to production tab commentary. Not that we made it much further past that before, but... The Stalker. I know you're there. He's looking. Overlord. Sweating. Wait, no, that's just how it looks. Your time is limited. Oracle will push it away. He's gonna stick it. Yeah, I know. Try to bait him. Looking at it. Just looking for the opportunity to come back, but no. Got the +1 melee. Well, I don't actually know how often Solar's gone for the +1 melee. He went for +1 ranged attack in game 1. But this time around, Evolution, Chamber, and Production, no Roach Warren yet. Though we should be seeing some commitment soon. Twilight Council on the way. There's no Forge. And soon we're going to find out whether that's intentional. The Oracle. 5 queens, giving it all their attention. The Oracle luxuriating. The fanciest disco ball. Just casually snipes off a creep tumor. Really, herO? Just glaives? After all this? You're just gonna go... He gets 5 kills with the second Oracle. The old bait and switch. Masterfully done. after 5 games, he's gonna break out the... And that's why scouting the Twilight Council doesn't really tell you anything. Why did he build the gas here? Okay, he's gonna get 3 gases. Is he gonna follow this up? This is like a casual macro glaives. All right, a bit of that macaroni cheese. The oracles. Knitting crew trying to deal with it, but barely able to sew together even some creep tumors, let alone a defense. And Solar taking 5 drone kills to a casual oracle and not taking out the oracle. That is significant damage. But there's 10 banelings on the way, and banelings ostensibly... Wait, the banelings are on the other side. Oh. Oh no. The banelings are on the wrong side of the map. The adepts are here. Glaives is done. The oracles are... Well, I'm not sure where the oracles are. Usually they're combined with this, but he only has a couple banes. And there's just 10 banelings. Oh no! Oh, the blue banes over here. Solar. He's lost 8 drones. Look at the worker count. That's disgusting. 36 to 62. Solar. This is the classic hero experience where it's like, I'm gonna do a bane bust, and hero's like, nope. What is this? And this is so sad. And Blink is, well, the oracles still exist. Did he just win? Son of a... I mean, even if every single probe at this base stacked up with a mineral walk, I think hero just won the series. Solar trying to get cheeky. Hero hits him with a casual... Ah, the triple G. GGG. And it just kind of ends, all right? How appropriate. In a series where we decided whether or not hero knew the basic mechanics of StarCraft, he somehow baited Solar into 2 separate, incredibly ill-fated cheeses, which he defended with ease, all right? And, I mean, game 1 was a casual charge lot timing. That one was a... This needs to be studied. I don't know how he does it. But yet again, hero has mentally, and almost entirely mentally this time, outmaneuvered his opponent and attains victory. This was a mixed bag, but hopefully one you enjoyed. At least enough to smash that like button, maybe even subscribe. And if you got the means of motivation, I was going to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. Oh, and Hype. That one's free. But I hope it made your day a little bit better. Hope to see you next time on Contemplating Hero, a StarCraft story. Working title. Good luck, have fun. Check out this amazing video. Probably related, but thanks for watching. See you next time. Stay chill.